Wing Bro, coming in from Santiago de los Caballeros, Northern Dominican Republic. In this video, boys, for anybody who has hit a rut in their dating life, we're gonna get you out of that rut. We're gonna kick-start you. So in this video, I'm gonna take you through some of the problems in modern dating that guys are running into you. I'm going to tell you about my accelerated solution, and as a bonus, I will also give you my tier list on methods for bringing women into your life. We'll go from God tier all the way down to slug tier. In fact, we'll probably start off with the slugs. So this video is designed for guys in their 30s or 40s. Guys who basically made it. Guys who've got the career, they've got the look, they've got good social skills, they've had a personal life in the past, maybe they had a relationship or two, maybe they're even engaged, maybe they're divorced. And they feel that they've got a very good offer to put out there into the dating market. But the way things are in 2026, you know, you boys are at a loss. You're in dating purgatory. You don't know how the hell to negotiate this thing. And right now you feel like you're in purgatory. You look at your WhatsApp on a Friday night and it's crickets. You look at your Instagram and it's just all these beautiful shapes behind a glass wall that you can't access. You get yourself on Tinder, you get yourself on Bumble, and all the matches that you get, let's be honest, they're mismatches. Yeah, you got 45-year-old Brenda with 3 kids, you know, with that tobacco skin. And the only woman under the age of 25 you've matched with has got a suspiciously large Adam's apple. Clubs, I don't know about you, but once I turned about 35, it's particularly around the pandemic, I found as a guy going into my late 30s, I didn't want to be in clubs anymore. I actually didn't want to be. But I wanted to continue. I've had a bit of a slow playboy lifestyle this last 5 years, and I wanted to continue that. But I needed a means to actually be able to do it. I think a lot of guys are in this situation in their 30s and 40s. The social circle tends to have dwindled away a little bit. Your friends have got married off. The few remaining wings you have, you know, they can be few and far between. And the question is, what do you do? What do you do? You built yourself up, you built your castle, you built your tower like me here in Santiago, and you need a princess. You want the princess, you want the queen to come and join you. And you're stuck, basically, you're stuck. So this is a video for those guys, the guys who've got it all, but at the moment, they're struggling to bridge the gap. Those are the guys I can most certainly help. So, yeah, you need a solution, boys, you need a solution. You know, it's, we're February already, 2026, and I know there's a lot of guys out there who spent a lonely night last night, who spent a lonely night the night before, and the week before, and the day before, and the month before, and maybe the whole rest of last year, 2025. It's totally unnecessary. It's totally unnecessary, but it's understandable given the way things are at the moment. And that perpetual solitude, it gnaws at you. It gnaws at you. It's not something that's going to go away. You're biologically compelled to seek a mate. So there's no way you can get out of this. This is simply a problem that must be handled. There is no way to get around it. Your DNA dictates it. And guys find themselves online looking for a fix. They realize out there in the world there's no easy fix at the moment. Maybe you looked at some cold approach videos, some game videos, quote unquote game videos. A lot of the guys out there, and a lot of the younger guys, they're just inexperienced, man. They're inexperienced. If you're looking for a wife, if you're looking for a potential mate, it's going to be difficult for a guy in his mid-20s to give you much in the way of advice. Even if they know how to get women, it's a whole different ball game when you're selecting for a life partner. Some of the older guys, the mysteries of this world, the people who set this space going a couple of decades ago, they've either petered out, or they were always just weird guys to begin with, to be honest. And so, yeah, you're looking out there for advice. You may have stumbled across my channel. You may have seen a few of my infields. Maybe you've even tried going out, and you actually realize this whole cold approach thing, I see these guys on the internet doing it. It's a little bit harder than I was expecting. There's this thing called the spotlight effect. When you go out in public and you stop women in a supermarket, in a mall, in a restaurant, in a cafe, and you kind of feel the eyes on you. You feel that pressure. Your mouth goes dry, you're struggling to think of things to say, you start to perspire, your pupils shrink or dilate or whatever happens. You go, wow, this is a bit debilitating, my God. I mean, I'm probably underestimating it there. For a lot of guys, it's totally debilitating. For most guys, in fact. And you feel helpless. You end up feeling helpless if you go this way alone. And you may have tuned into some of the boys in the red pill telling you need to be 6'2", you need to be a millionaire, you need to buy their program on how to get rich with drop shipping, you need to be jacked, you need to be this, that, and the other. All of which is not only false, it's actually taking you in totally the wrong direction, as are the looks maxing guys. They're all taking you in totally the wrong direction because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They've got no receipts. You look on any of these boys' channels, it's weird, you don't see them chatting up any women at all. Strange, right? All these talking heads. I know I'm doing a talking head video right now, but you can see at least half a dozen infields on my channel, and there'll be many more to come. There'll be one, in fact, coming tomorrow. And so, these guys are just pointing men in the wrong direction, obviously, and it sells, obviously. And yeah, it's a bit of a shit show out there, boys. It's a bit of a shit show. And so that's really why I do this channel, is to help guys on the way. So, if anyone new to my channel, I'm Joseph. I'm a 40-year-old internet entrepreneur. How I came into this space really was in my late 30s. I decided I wanted to move away from clubs. I'd spent a lot of time in clubs. I'd actually been a club promoter for 4 years in my early 30s. So I'd done that whole scene. I was already experienced around women, and I was just wanting to continue my lifestyle, but not have to go through clubs. And so I found a coach who trained me in cold approaching women in the daytime, because I knew it was a different space. I knew it wasn't like clubs, it wasn't like bars, and I was gonna need to learn something in order to become successful. So I went away and got coached with a few boys, formed a mastermind. We've been doing meetups over the last couple of years and just really developing and honing our approach. And over the last year, I've been coaching guys as well who were motivated to learn and motivated to change their lives. So that's me. I've done this all over the world in terms of daytime and nighttime approach, and successfully as well. Not just doing it to do it, successfully as well, from UK, Spain, Italy, France, Greece, Portugal, Dominican Republic, Brazil, Serbia, Bosnia, Turkey, a whole span of different countries, from Muslim to Orthodox Christian to Catholic to secular. And Each place has its own angle. Each place has its own strengths, weaknesses, pitfalls. Some places are definitely easier than others. Some places are hard, but certainly worth it. Some places a bit more easy, but it's questionable whether it's worth it or not. So I built up all this experience, and that's what I'm sharing on this channel with you boys. So the solution I advocate for getting out of dating purgatory is a multi-vector approach led by cold approach. So it's multi-vector, but it's led by the skill of cold approach. So let me just break that down. Cold approach means going over to a girl that you find attractive, whether it's in the mall or whether it's in the street, whether it's just poolside like this, striking up a conversation, but with intent and making it very clear you're interested in the girl. It's direct cold approach. We're not messing around. There's 2026, everyone's got TikTok brain. There is no time for messing around. And you don't have time to mess around either. So that is the skill, that is the engine that drives everything, right? And you can do that anywhere. And I also advocate doing programmed sessions on a weekly basis. So Saturday afternoon, you get yourself out, you do 5 to 10 approaches, bang, 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 and that keeps you sharp. And it also massively upgrades your social confidence, because it does take a little bit of cojones to go in there and do it, even once you're trained. However, this is a multi-vector approach. We don't just get stuck approaching women in the street. No, that's part of it. And you can get girlfriends in that way. I've got girlfriends in that way. My students have got girlfriends in that way. But I advocate a broader approach, which incorporates developing your social life. Developing your social life, developing based on your own interest, whether that's music, whether that's fitness, whether that's literature. I don't care what it is. There is every chance you've already got something in your life that you are not exploiting that could bring you some hyper niche girls. I call these hyper niche girls. Those are the girls who are both attractive and share multiple of your own interests. Those are your wifeys. Those girls are typically your wifeys. And on top of that, I also advocate some nighttime approach as well. I think that's a healthy setup. You've got daytime, you've got social, and you've got nighttime. And if you incorporate all of that, and it doesn't have to take too much time, probably an hour or two a week to do all three of those, probably a couple of hours to do all three of those things per week. It's pretty straightforward, 8 hours a month, and you're gonna have your pick, my friend. You are going to have your pick, okay? So, let's continue. Yeah, the program that I run, the 72-hour daytime approach immersion, I find that's about enough time to get guys highly proficient in the noble art of daytime cold approach. Depending on where you are when you come in, this is going to be different for different guys. Some guys will be closing on the first day. They'll be getting numbers, dates the first day. Some guys won't be getting any closes for the first couple of days. It depends where they are. Okay, so some of the guys I work with are autistic spectrum, Asperger's syndrome. In those cases, it may take a couple more days, right? Some guys are almost ready to go as soon as they come in. You know, they might have a job where they're doing a lot of public presentation. They feel very self-confident already. They just need to know, how do I actually do this mechanically? And that is what I teach them. And there are a lot of non-obvious things as well. Once you get yourself out there, you realize, well, how do I actually stop a girl without scaring her? What do I do with my feet? How do I move? What should my intro be? Should I go direct? Should I go indirect? How should I escalate this? How do I close? What do I do if I want to go for an instant date? Should I go for an instant date? All that stuff, I just clear up with you. I've done this so many thousands of times. I just put you on the straight and narrow immediately. Okay, so within 72 hours, you basically get probably not far off as good as me within 72 hours. Probably not as good as me realistically in most cases, because there's things that I've seen that may come up in approach that I'll be able to handle, you might not be able to handle, but you'll get extremely good within 72 hours. You probably get as good as I did after 1 year of doing this within 3 days. Okay, so that's the offer. I'll be taking students here in the tropics from April. So Dominican Republic, incredible place to approach. Insane women, insane. If you like curvy women, athletic women, that mahogany style, that Latina style, there's a reason I live here. And I will also be taking immersions in Europe as well this summer, most likely to be Belgrade, which is, for me, the electricity of Belgrade, the hotness of the women, is something very, very special. It's Europe, but it's not Europe. Belgrade is just a special place. Serbia is a special place. So I specifically choose, having traveled all around the world, a couple of places that I like to spend my time. And so I train guys in desirable locations. I want it to be an amazing experience. It's a before and after for you boys that come in and do an immersion with me. And that's really the experience guys have. It's before and after. There's the you before the immersion when you don't know this stuff, and there's the you after the immersion. And even me, sometimes I forget those feelings of frustration I used to have when I see the Badsky walking past me and I felt like I couldn't do anything, as compared to now, where it's just a question, can I be bothered to go over or not? And if I go over, there's a really good chance I'll be able to close her, if she's available, of course. So yeah, you don't need to be a male model to do this. You don't need to be 6'2". I'm 5'7". Plenty of my clients are well under 6 foot, similar type of build to me. And some of the best guys last summer were similar height to me. It really makes very little difference. You don't have to be shredded, although I am, obviously. I'm 40 years old, so I'm just gonna rinse. I'm gonna rinse this physique until it completely melts away in my 50s. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be wealthy. Most guys are just doing all right for themselves. I work with lawyers, guys from the city, creatives, YouTubers, journalists, engineers, programmers, smart guys typically. A lot of smart guys are very attracted to this space, and I think my content as well, because I'm a thinking guy. I do have an intellectually demanding professional job, as many of you will. And so it can be a challenge to get out of that thinking and get into that more primal self, which is just like kryptonite for these girls. So that's one of the things we work on, is getting you into the right state. And just to use my own example, not to be self-indulgent, but I'm 40 years old. I'm bald, I'm 5'7", I'm not rich, and I am dating multiple girls that are half my age. And I'm really, right now, I'm just narrowing in on the girl that I'm gonna make the mother of my children. That's my focus at the moment. I'm starting to look a little bit more at lineage, legacy, building now. I've had my fun. I don't need to have more fun. I'm still having fun, but I'm looking in this direction. But at the moment, I'm still dealing with 3 or 4 women half my age. So there you go. If you look at me and think, well, this bald bastard can probably, if he can do it, I probably can do it, you would probably be correct, my friend. So yeah, I think one of the issues guys have, another problem that guys have in this space, is thinking that they can only approach in socially approved spaces. Socially approved spaces. This is a major issue. Sometimes for research purposes, I go on the internet just to see what people are saying about cold approach. I know it works because I do it literally every day for fun. I do approaches just for fun. I get numbers from Badskis. I don't even message them. Just for fun, just for an ego boost. But guys think, is this socially acceptable? I've seen this in forums that go, no, it doesn't work, it's not socially acceptable. And I would disagree. Well, it's not I disagree, it's wrong. The reason it's wrong is because I do it every day. I did an approach yesterday, the day before yesterday, Thursday, I did an approach. I saw a girl in Starbucks, was eyeing her up a little bit, but I was working and I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to lose focus. As she went out, she walked right in front of my table, and this girl had a premium, lean, toned body, mahogany skin. Oh my goodness me, she just had a beautiful body. She was really well dressed, had this elegant, tight dress on. I sat there and I thought, yeah, I do need to do a little bit more work, but that's a little bit too good. I can't let that go. So I waited probably about 10 seconds. I was umming and ahhing, right? I'm not Superman. I don't zip into every approach like a machine every single time. But I waited about 8-10 seconds. I thought, no, can't let that one go. So got my wallet, got my phone, left my laptop there, and ran out after the girl. By the time I got to her, she was going into a supermarket. And so by the time I stopped her, she was literally between the security barriers, you know, those plastic things in the supermarket. Stopped her, paid her the compliment. She was very shocked, so I kind of went chill, quiet, relaxed. And she gave me a little bit of that Gen Z stare to begin with, because she was just very shocked and she didn't really know what was going on. And she wasn't actually, as I later found out, she wasn't such a flirty type anyway. So I carried on, I persisted in the set, and about 90 seconds into the set, she started to relax. And I said, we actually went around the supermarket together. She was looking for some stuff to send to her friend. So we have this little instant date / mission. We're going around the supermarket together. We get some stuff, I go buy a protein bar. And then she needs to get some credit for her phone. She goes into this one place, the system was down, her phone was going flat, and I said, well, let's go back into Starbucks and charge your phone, you can use my charger. So I go back into the Starbucks about 20 minutes late, probably 25 minutes later, with this girl who just run out. Yeah, my stuff's still there. We charge her phone, sit there, talk, exchange contact details. And just for fun, I thought, well, let's push this a little bit further. She still needs to get her credit. Let's go and find her some credit. There's different places around here. So we leave the mall completely. We go around these little corner shops and get her some credit. So I had about a 45-minute to 1 hour, probably closer to an hour, instant date with a girl that on no planet was that socially approved. There is no manual for, well, there is my manual, but there's no social script for doing that. We are going off script, and that is the point. The alpha male, for want of a better term, yeah, I just mean a go-getting man, basically. You don't have to be some meathead, right? You could be an indie dude. I'm talking about alpha inside your mind. The go-getting man defines his own script. He understands social norms, but he defines his own script. Yeah, that is actually the difference between an alpha male and a beta male. The beta male is a follower. He follows the script that's laid out for him. Yeah. And what we're doing is we're defining a new script, a script that is more in tune with our own desires, which is, I see the girl, I just want to talk to her. She just looks good. Caveman see, caveman go. We're getting back to nature, right? And yeah, it was an amazing approach. Many of my students have had similar experiences. And that, for me, I do things like that at least every week, just for fun, you know? And I do it to stay sharp as well, so that when trainees come in, I am still razor sharp. I'm not a guy who did cold approach 10 years ago. I'm doing it in 2026 as a 40-year-old. So yes, you do not need to wait for socially approved environments. In fact, I would suggest developing yourself in non-socially approved environments, so that when you get into the environments such as social circle, parties, clubs, bars, it's absolutely second nature. It's easy. It's just like going over and just picking up a glass of water. Your approach is so smooth and so easy by that point. You'll just be a king amongst men. And so you right now, you may be a more introverted guy. You may find this kind of thing a little bit outside of your comfort zone, as I did. But ultimately, what else are you going to do? Wait for Brenda on Tinder. If you're over 30 and or under 6 foot, you're fucked on Tinder. So this is your best angle. And some of the relationship dynamics that you get through daytime approach, they just supersede everything else. They really do. They really do, because the girl does see you in a certain kind of way. You were the bold hero. This cinematic moment that she gets to experience as you go over to her. And women are very flexible. You think women don't make the rules, boys. This is the other thing. Women don't make the rules. We make the rules. We make the rules on a biological level. Sociologically, things can vary over the centuries and stuff like that, but it's ultimately the men that make the rules. And the bolder that men are in general, actually that emboldens the women as well. They're more likely to leap into the adventure with you if you're bold. You see it in places like the Dominican, the guys are more outlandish, especially in the capital, and that kind of gives the women a bit more permission as well. So, yeah, if you're one of those intellectual professionals, as most of the guys I work with are, just realize you're holding more cards than you probably imagine. The ideal guy is a guy who can move between both worlds. He can move in the social world, he can still be that bold guy that appeals to something older in the woman, something at the level of her hind brain, of her synapses, her limbic system. You can appeal to that side of her, but you're also professional and you can move within the modern world. Yeah, that's the ideal. That is the ideal. Yeah. So hopefully this has been useful to you in terms of just outlining, what your sticking points are and how the solution that I offer actually is going to assist you in addressing those sticking points. Just before we finish, this is a short and sharp live today, just 30 minutes. Just before we finish, I'll give you my tier list as well of ways to actually bring attractive women into your life. Okay, so we will start off on slug tier. Slug tier for sure is the apps. That is slug tier, my friend. Slug tier, sloth tier, slow, useless. If you're like, even guys who are objectively, on objective metrics, are top 10%, it still fucking sucks. Yeah, and it's actually sterilizing society. The number of male virgins now in their 20s is ridiculously high, sky high. Why is that? When I was I'm 40, when I was in my teens, even the nerds were getting laid by 18. Yeah, even full-on nerds. They had girlfriends by the time they were 18. Yeah. So it's sterilizing society, and I think women as well, they know it as well. There was a little maybe heyday for a few years, but they know it as well. So that is absolutely slug tier. As I say, if you're over 30, you are fucked. If you're in your 40s, what do you think I'm getting at 40 years old if I go on an app? Yeah, do you think I'm getting the 21-year-old baddie that I got with the other week? Yeah, you can, by the way, don't take my word for it, you can see these girls on my channel. You can literally see me approaching some of these girls. Some of the clips are quite short, but you can see them. It's not about me, but it's just for the sake of, so that you can know I'm not a bullshit artist. I'm actually doing this. What do you think I'll be getting online? Fuck all is the answer. So that is slug tier, total slug tier. Okay, next tier up from there, the socially approved man. The socially approved man, the man who goes over timidly when everything is set up, in the social little soiree, in his work, the social little soiree that he gets invited to. That's a little tier up because it is in person, but you are waiting for those moments. And those moments could be few and far between, especially as you get older. So that's a little tier up. I would say the next tier up from that would be the warm approach guy. The warm approach guy, the guy who's waiting for the choosing signals. Choosing signals. Good one. Nice one. Yeah. You're basically being passive. You're basically waiting for the girl to pick you. And in my honest experience, when those so-called choosing signals actually come, half the time you go over and it's exactly like a total cold approach anyway. Sometimes the girl's even more defensive. I don't know why that is. Maybe she knows she's looking at you, you're looking at her. So yeah, don't wait for the choosing signals, but at least you're going out. If you're doing that, at least you're doing something. So next step up from there, I would say, would be all forms of daytime approach and nighttime approach. I'd put them about equal. I think daytime is more flexible though. Daytime is more flexible. You can do it anywhere. You can do it anytime. Nighttime is good because the girls are, oh, we've got Jay in here. Nice. What have we got people saying here? Slaphead, absolutely feral. Good stuff, boys. Good stuff. Jay, if you're there, mate, good to see you. Good to see you. It's actually pretty cold here, to be honest. I just want to get the shirt off. Yeah, I'm in the north of the DR, so the weather's not always as blistering as it is in the capital. But yeah, the next tier up, just to finish this point, would be all forms of daytime. What I love about daytime approaches is flexibility. So I did approaches in the mall, as I said. I did an approach in the supermarket the other day, which actually went terribly. Yeah, that supermarket down there, I'm pointing to it, it's off screen here, but that is the scene of a few of my greatest ever approaches a couple of years ago. I approached an Olympic athlete there, closed an Olympic athlete. She was ridiculous. She was about 5'11". She was a high jumper, number 2 high jumper in Dominican Republic. You can imagine what she looked like. And so that supermarket's got a special place in my heart. And I thought, the other night I was in there and I saw her, I thought, she's with her family, her mum and her dad, but let me go in for it anyway. And it was a full-on, absolute nutcracker. It was a full-on kick in the balls. I tried to stop her multiple times, she didn't stop. And she also gave me that look of disgust as well. And there was a ton of people around. So when I say that I know how it feels to get blowouts, I know how this whole thing works, I do, yeah. It still happens to me now sometimes. There is not a single guy out there who is so ridiculously good that he never gets a knockback, that he never gets a kick in the balls, especially if he goes in a supermarket. There is nobody out there. And the guys in my group are the best guys in the world. The guys in my mastermind are by far the best in the world. They're a joke, yeah. When we hit places together, it's like the scenes that unfold, it's fucking insane, dude. It's like the American SF going to get Maduro, only we're doing something much more pleasant than that. We're going to get women. And all of us get kicks in the balls. Even my friend Senator Winner, who's a literal male model and an actor. He's one of the most charismatic guys you could ever find. He's ridiculous at cold approach. Even he gets blowouts. So it doesn't matter who you are, right? The maturity that I have, though, is I just understand that's part of the game. I understand when you go and stop a girl in the supermarket, like the girl the day after, she may not be falling at my feet in the first 90 seconds. Whereas another guy would eject there. I just know if I stay in here, I can make something happen. I end up having an instant date with her. Yeah, all sorts of things are possible. I'll be at Carnival tomorrow, and it will be on tomorrow. Carnival, that's where like the streets are going to be full. So all of these little things I've been doing this week, that's just for fun basically. But yeah, I know exactly what it is. I understand exactly what guys are going through, the ups and downs, and one of the maturity aspects of cold approach is you realize not all girls are going to like you, but some of them are going to absolutely love you. Not all girls are going to be suitable for you. Even when you get their number, even when you go on a date with them, you're going to realize she looked fantastic, but actually she's quite annoying. I'm not into her. Yeah, that's part of the maturity process. And another part of the maturity process is you can go out for a few days, you can get a few bad reactions, but you're only ever 1 or 2 approaches away from it all changing. You meet your girlfriend, you meet the future mother of your children, and when your children, your daughters ask you, Daddy, how do you meet Mummy? Your wife's going to jump in and tell them the whole story, right? How she met her knight in shining armor. Yeah, so that'll be the benefits of daytime approach. I've gone on a tangent there a little bit. Nighttime approach. What I like about nighttime is concentration. It's a concentration of women, and they're also looking to be approached as well. So you'll see a lot of them, they've got that dirty little look on their eyes when they're out. They're looking to be approached, they've had a drink or two. But nighttime is very venue dependent. It's very venue dependent. So you want to be in a place with good music. I would say best music for approach is things like Latin music, reggaeton, Afrobeat. The electro type of music, I've never found that to be that good. It's a lot of people doing pills, and it's not such a sensual environment. So I would favour that type of music. And also you want it to be in an environment where you know that girls are going, some of the girls are going there dressed up, they are looking to pull. There's a couple of places I was going to when I was back in the UK, Manchester, that I really liked. One of them was Rev de Cube was good, but there's another place as well, I forget the name, it's like it's got live music upstairs and downstairs, a restaurant downstairs and a club upstairs. I took a date there that I'd met in Cold Approach, daytime. But as soon as I got in there, I was like, yeah, I see all these girls, they're looking around like little sharks. So that is the benefit of nighttime. The girls are ready to be approached. So yeah, those actually would be my second tier of approach, like second tier of getting women. They're amazing and any guy can do them, and that's the best part of it. The top tier, the God tier is platform approach. I'm actually gonna put my jacket on here. The top tier is platform approach. And that is where you're approaching a woman from a platform. What does that mean? It's where you're already in the spotlight. I'm not talking about an online platform, although obviously that the principle could apply there as well. But it's where you're in the spotlight and you're kind of holding your own in some kind of social situation. So I used to be a club promoter, and on the nights that I had my promotion, I was one of the main guys there. I'll be organising things, I'll be going around, speaking to the DJ, speaking to the bar staff, greeting people when they come in. And I definitely got a boost. Women are very sensitive to social status, much more than men, way more than men. And I noticed an immediate boost in their eyes. Bartenders get the same benefit as well. It's very strange because a bartender is a minimum wage job, but they're in the spotlight, they're in the shop window when women are shopping. So okay, they get that boost. Speak to any bartender who's done a year in a bar, and even if they're a normal guy, they're probably going to become a playboy, or they're going to have some experiences they would not have already had. That's an eye-opener for guys who get into that scene. You realise how it's a total cheat code. It doesn't make any rational sense. But you're in the shop window, the girls are shopping, and you've got that power, you've got that control. The other guys on the other side of the bar, they're looking a bit nervous, they're sheepish about going over to the girl, and you're just kind of there, just working, pulling pints, doing things. You can say to the girl, hey, do you want a free shot? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then give them a little chat, maybe exchange numbers, or maybe just even, one of my friends, he would just take girls into a back room, just pull them in the back room. Very common strategy bar managers and bar guys use. There's nothing special about those guys. Usually they're reasonably good looking, but what's special is they're in that shop window and they have so much access, and they even have women competing for them. It's the platform. It's not just the guy, it's the guy on the platform. Another example would be dance teachers. Yeah, this is another cheat code, man. Teachers of like a dance class or a fitness class. Jay, mate, if you're still on, you should do some kind of a class where you're based, like even if it's like a spin class or something. Just be the guy at the front with the mic. You'll see girls will come up to you after class and flirt with you, and you won't do anything. You'll just be because you're already good, and when you're in that shop window and you're at the front, you're kind of leading things. Women just gravitate towards you. A spin class would be a perfect example, or a fitness class. A dance class is another example. And you see, like dance teachers, they're not the most macho guys ever. They're usually quite slightly more feminized, quite sensitive, feminized types. They're the guys that I know. Think of a Latin guy and an Asian guy, Chinese guy, dance teachers, good dancers, but they're in the middle of a class, there's 30 people around them, and they're taking people through their moves, they're doing demos with the girls, probably cracking a few jokes, they're giving people tips, and they're leading from the front. Yep. And they always get hot girls, man. They always got hot girls, shockingly, way hotter than any of these freaks online, these completely neutered faggots who, the looks maxing guys. I'm all for like looking good. I'm all for that, yeah. But the guys who start doing diagrams of people's heads and stuff like that and breaking it down in videos, they would see my friend, the Asian teacher, and they would look at him and go, it's impossible for him to get a hot girl. And his girlfriend back in the day, they separated eventually, but he had 3 or 4 years with her, is one of the fittest chicks I've seen in Sheffield. She was fucking outrageous. A straight 9. What she was even doing in Sheffield, I don't even know, to be honest. But blonde, perfect body, per ass, and big tits as well. Everything perfect, dude. Even girls resented this guy as well. Even the girls resented how hot his girlfriend was. But I totally understood it, because what is he? He's a tribal leader, yeah? Our DNA is much older than modernity. It's much older than looks maxing. It's much older than money. It's much older than my branded Puma King top, right? It's much older than cars, all of this stuff. Someone who is an organic leader in a physical, social situation is always going to draw women in. Another one is making speeches. Yeah, if you ever get asked to make a speech, take it up. Get ChatGPT to write you a good speech if you're not into speech writing. But take it up, because you'll find the women, if you crack a few jokes and stuff, and you get a good response, women will throw themselves at you, man. I had this at a wedding a couple of years ago. I made the best man speech. It was almost embarrassing, man. Like people's wives, guys' wives, friends' wives almost throwing themselves at me. And it's hypergamy. It's hypergamy. Same in dance classes as well. You're that tribal figure at the front. They are programmed to go for guys like that. Just as we're programmed to go for a girl with a beautiful body, big tits. It's just in our programming, it's in our DNA. I don't care if she's got a PhD, I don't even care if she can fucking read, to be honest. Oh yeah, that's good, it's DNA. It's DNA, and this is how girls are as well. So those would be some examples of platform. That is the strongest approach you can do. Think of the Beatles, did they have to do cold approach? No, they had thousands, hundreds of thousands of screaming women chasing after them. Yeah. Just think about that. 4 scallies playing a guitar. Yeah, obviously they have talent, but that in no way explains that behavior. So it's this platform effect, right? And it can be, in their case, it was almost like a religious thing that they had going on. Women are also, a lot of them are always, they're attracted to the shaman figure or the priest, or it used to be the priest actually, but the shamanic figure or the yoga teacher. Yeah, you see that all the time, the yoga teacher with all the babes. I'm telling you, they're spiritual guides. Super common. I remember one of my friends who's he's an accountant, and he is actually he's definitely a playboy himself. But we saw one of the salsa teachers out with this. The salsa teacher now, he's got to be 50, and he's out with this 26, 27-year-old beautiful girl, and she's in love with him and all this. And my friend's like, I mean, what's he really? He's a fucking salsa teacher. I bet his pension's shit. And I just remember, I said to him, like, bro, do you think that girl has any concept? Do you think she gives a shit about his pension? It doesn't even occur to her, yeah? That won't occur to her until like 10 years into the relationship, right? Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the comments there. So, yeah, anytime you can get into that platform, you can be a tribal leader in any way, I want you boys to take it. And if you can engineer it, so much the better, but just any chance you have, go and take it. And then once you've got daytime approach skills, you've got your approach skills, you're on cruise control for the rest of your life. You're on cruise control for the rest of your life. You don't need to be amazingly skilled. And in fact, sometimes it's actually, honestly, sometimes in my approaches, this is honest truth, sometimes I purposely fuck them up a little bit, just so it's a bit more realistic. Because there's times I know exactly what to do, but I actually fuck it up intentionally, because it can almost be too smooth. It's like, are we on candid camera here? Yeah, it's you don't need to be that good. The main thing is going over, making a bold approach, moving things forward, sticking in, determination, and then the follow-up as well. There are other things that there are other things I teach on this channel, things that I discuss with people who come to work with me on the back end of the relationship, like on the back end after the approach, after the initial sex, how you want to move forward with the girl. There is actually a lot to learn in relationships these days, because the days of men simply being the economic provider for women, which was for certainly a lot of European history, history of high civilization, those days are now over. And so women don't actually need men to survive economically for the time being. We'll see what happens in the next century or millennium. For the time being, they don't need men to survive economically. They don't need men for attention. So even in the 90s, they didn't need men to survive economically, but they did need real physical men to get attention, to get validation. They don't need that anymore. Oh God, I'm trying to keep the posture good here, boys. They don't need that anymore. And so actually it is incumbent on us men these days. We actually have to become seducers. It's not, we have to learn about female psychology. And so, yeah, we're probably in a position where there will be a greater proportion of men than ever before, or than for many years, who will actually really know the ins and outs of female psychology. A lot of it is very primal. A lot of it's very against the notions of equality, which is a farce to begin with. It's not almost what anyone says on the internet. It's not like the money look status stuff and beating women down. It's not that, but it's also, we're just not equal. We're not the same. We're evolved creatures. Women have evolved to look for certain things. We've evolved to look for certain things. And so that's what I base all my principles on. But it's not theory either. It's all done in practice. And so, yeah, you'll have a large proportion of men who really know about seduction in this generation. It's actually, it's always going to be an elite though, because most men are just going to be too lazy, to be honest, and they'll bury their heads in the sand. But you look back to prehistory, and only less than 50% of men reproduced. About 1/3 of men reproduced. So it was very much like it's kind of survival of the fittest, and I suspect we may end up going back to something like that. I don't know how that works with children and so on. I don't know. But in any case, it's not for me to worry about society as a whole. I just live my own life and help the guys that I help. And as long as we're okay, and as long as our lineage procreates to the next generation, then that's the main thing as far as I'm concerned. These social questions are very interesting though. So let's have a look through the comments. You just broke up with your girlfriend. Are you? You just broke up with your girlfriend. I didn't know you had a girlfriend. That's unfortunate, babe. It's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. Did you break it off yourself? Or did she break it off with you? With breakups, I think, you want to get moving, but I also think giving yourself a little bit of a chance to recover is also normal as well. When I broke up with my ex, I wasn't approaching like the same day. I think I'll go and I'll lick my wounds for a few days. To respond, it's like the line from Macbeth, it's Macduff, I think, when he loses his wife and family. It's like one of the characters saying to him, you need to step up like a man. He goes, I've got to feel it like a man first, then I can step up. So you got to take the hit, you got to feel it first, and then you get yourself back out there. But you lick your wounds for a few days, definitely. So boys, hopefully this has been useful to you guys. I'm Joseph Wingbro, I'm here to help. All I want you to do for the time being is subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Continue to watch my videos. I don't have any calls available in the next month to 6 weeks because I'm just too busy with other things. But we will be opening spring and summer immersions. If you are stuck in that purgatory, you can do what Jay did. Come out and work with me either in the tropics here or when I'm back in Europe. We can get you on the straight and narrow, and you're basically sorted for life. Once you've got the skills, you know what you're doing, all it then becomes is a question of application. And then you just kind of, my end game is to build a brotherhood bratpa where we have a good number of solid guys who, if they want to go out and wing together and pick up women together, find their girlfriends and wives together, you know, we've got a network where we can facilitate that. But hopefully it's going to go beyond that as well. I've got visions beyond that where it goes more into, honestly, things like we start buying properties, we start coordinating lives so we can have incredible lives. I think brotherhood is such an underestimated, so important. Who has a true brotherhood in the modern world? Who has one? Practically nobody these days, you know. I think there's so much value in it, and it's just like it's just a cheat code to happiness, basically. Being the pater familia, the family man, that's okay, but you need if you're going to do that, you still need a brotherhood on the side, definitely. So that's my vision long term. It's to live a multi-jurisdictional lifestyle, to have my brood of children, and then to have my brotherhood as well. And then and it might be my children's children who go and retake Europe. I've got my idea for a Caribbean tropical breeding program as well out here, and get an island just off the coast of Panama. You know, start a new civilization based on the principles of the Greek city-state. I think that would be that's another worthy goal, but one step at a time. Let's just get you guys out of dating purgatory for the time being. We can worry about city-states in the future. So hopefully this has been useful, boys. Good to see any of you guys, regulars and so on. For the time being, just subscribe, just watch the videos, just comment. Let me know what your issues are as well. Let me know what your issues are. Don't suffer in silence. Put a comment below. Every guy's been through tough periods in their personal life. We don't have matchmaking things, or families don't matchmake for us these days. There are no like village dances. Guys don't get married to the high school sweetheart anymore. It's a lot more chaotic and it's a lot tougher out there. So every guy's had some stuff. A lot of guys are struggling in this field. I know they are. So don't suffer in silence. It may not be you actually. It may just be where you're at in life and the fact you don't know how to bridge the gap. It's an information gap for a lot of people, an implementation gap. So feel free to drop me a comment, boys. I will catch you in the next one. Take it easy. This is Wingbro, coming to you from Santiago, Dominican Republic. We'll be coming back in the next couple of days with a full feature video on a carnival, which will be starting tomorrow.